Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show, the real home of progressives. Now, right into the news. Today, we're going to talk about coronavirus and the flu. EG5 is the new variant that's going around with COVID, and it's causing some problems. As an article I was reading earlier said, it's not that EG5 is the only one causing problems, but it is the dominant strain that is making its way around America right now. The suggestion is if you're in a situation where you need to protect yourself and you're one of those people that are likely to have a bad case of COVID if you get it, they're suggesting that you wear masks in public, especially in enclosed areas again. Now, there's been like a somewhat of almost a 20% increase in COVID cases and like a 7% increase in hospitalization, I think they said, due to COVID. To be very clear, COVID-19 is not gone. There have been school closures, there have been university closures, and they're not even suggesting shutdowns or anything like that. What they're suggesting is taking precautions. Keep your hands clean. Wear a mask in public. Take care of your fellow person, right? That's the suggestion. Is to just be careful. Take the precautions that are necessary to take. If you're going to go out in public, be safe with it. Wear a mask. Keep your hands clean. Don't touch your face. If you're going to sneeze, sneeze into your elbow in case you may have it and not know it. These are all simple things you can do to protect yourself and other people around you. Now, will a mask 100% protect you from getting it? No. But it could very well prevent you from giving it to someone else. Now, the suggestion is to find an N95 mask because those are the ones that are actually, the only ones that are really effective against COVID. For like temporary, just in and out of something, running in, running out. A cloth mask at least will provide some protection, right? It won't provide massive protection. It won't cover you completely. But a cloth mask, if that's what you can find, if that's all you can find, is better than nothing. If you can find N95 masks that are affordable and you can afford them, I suggest them. Especially if you're immunocompromised. My wife and I have not found any that we could afford because last time I looked, when I was trying to find one, it was like $95 or $90 for like an 8 pack of throwaways. Not even ones that could last for a long time, just throwaways. Now that was a year ago. I haven't been looking for them recently. So you may be able to find them at a reasonable price somewhere on Amazon or at Walmart or something. Now, I'm not going to sit here and fearmonger about COVID. I'm just going to tell you the facts. For some people, COVID is deadly. For some people, COVID is not. Many of us know whether or not we would survive a bout of COVID. Myself, I am 100% sure that I wouldn't. So, I will be wearing a mask when I go out to the OU football game this week. I'll be keeping my hands clean, don't be touching my face as much as I can, and being safe, as will the friend I go with, most likely. Now, I'm not as usually concerned about open spaces, where the wind can blow things away and I don't usually get sick from those situations. But I will be taking precautions. I suggest you do too. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about though is the flu. The flu is looking to ramp up here in the next few weeks, especially by end of September, early October. The flu usually starts coming around, especially as kids start going to school and they start bringing stuff home. And as has been mentioned in the news recently, a lot of schools don't have the mask, requirements and things like that they had before, and haven't for the last year or so. And so you're already starting to see colds and stuff spread around that weren't spreading before, and flu that weren't spreading recently, because of all the masks. There's a reason the flu disappeared during COVID for the most part. One, during lockdowns, we weren't going anywhere. We weren't seeing people. Hard to spread a virus when you're locked down. Also, viruses like the flu and the cold are better or even better protected, even with a cloth mask, than no mask at all, than the COVID virus. It doesn't take as much of COVID to get you sick as it does other viruses. Um, but with the flu, you want to take your precautions. The same thing. If you're immunocompromised, wear a mask. If keep your hands clean. But all this to say one thing. At the end of the day, get your vaccine. The new COVID booster will be coming up by the end of September to try to help combat this one. They believe the next update coming at the end of September will combat the EG5 variant better than the current ones. As well, the flu vaccine for 2023 is already available. Head to your local CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, or your doctor's office and get your flu shot. I'll be doing that in the next week or so myself, if I have as soon as I have the money to do so. A lot of you, if you have insurance, your COVID vaccine and your flu shot is likely covered, depending on your insurance. I know some states Medicaid covers it, and some states it doesn't. But do what you have to get your flu shot, and then be prepared to get your COVID vaccine as soon as the new booster comes out at the end of September. Now, if you don't feel you can wait till the end of September and you need to boost again for COVID, then I would talk to your doctor and make sure of what they have to say, because your doctor's going to know better than I will, and most people out there are going to know. Your doctor should know more on exactly when to get your next booster. And that's about it, really. The COVID shot is going to be available. You got the flu shot available. These are things you can do to protect yourself. It's really not rocket science. The flu vaccine's been around for years. And remember to get your kids vaccinated. COVID, the flu, especially the flu. I know children don't tend to be as affected, at least in terms of, being deathly ill from COVID, but they're very prone to severe cases of the flu that can wind up in death. So please, if you love your kids, get them vaccinated. Because I know back in 2019, before COVID became a thing in early 2020, here in the US anyway, I covered at least 4 cases of kids who died from the flu virus because they never got vaccinated that year. So don't delay on the flu shot, and don't delay on the COVID vaccine when you get a chance, if you can take it. If you're one of those people that can't take a vaccine, take all those other precautions. If you can't get a vaccine, get the vaccine and still take those precautions. And some of the hardest hit people are going to be the older people, especially 80 and over, like our president, and people that are immunocompromised. Those are the people that have been mostly affected by this new strain and by COVID in general. It also disproportionately affects African American and people, and especially in lower income areas, because they can't afford the masks, they can't afford the vaccines unless they can find a way to get it for free. Luckily for COVID, there will be a bridge program, they call it, that should continue to allow people that have no insurance or insurance that doesn't cover COVID to get their vaccines for COVID. Anyhow, I hope you are having a good day. I've been trying to figure out what stories to cover today, and it just was difficult. So this is the one I picked. There was so much other negative stuff in the world that I wanted to focus on something that could actually be helpful. And there's a lot of stuff we'll talk about in the coming weeks. I will probably take next Monday off for Labor Day because my wife is going to be off work and we're just going to have I guess, a little staycation for about 5 days. So I probably won't be here making a video next week. If I do, I'll record it on Friday and have it uploaded on Monday. We'll see. But anyways, y'all have a great day. See you down the road.